What is going on, guys? Welcome to the Brick City Boys show. I'm Matty Icy. It's Tommy D. Tom's, how we feeling, man? It's the holiday season. I can't think of a better present than college basketball.
And this Saturday, we got some great presents under the tree already, and we're going to be able to watch those presents on Saturday. There's like 7 teams all ranked going at each other this Saturday. We'll talk more about it later, but it's going to be
Yeah,
fun.
17 total teams playing out of the top 25 on Saturday. Some great matchups, like you mentioned. We'll get into that and more. We're gonna look at the top 25. We're gonna talk about those games, L of the week, and then I think that's about it. I do have a little segment that I just got spur of the moment, so I want to do that. But what do you want to start it off with, man? I'm versatile here.
Let's start top 25.
You want to go for the
And I
top
want to give a
25?
huge shout out to you and your Miami.
Miami, did you forget the name? Hurricanes?
No. I was gonna say no. I know it's the Hurricanes, but I was gonna say something else. But a huge shout out to Miami Hurricanes making it to the top 25, number 25, finally on 10-1, having a stellar season so far. So congrats to you, and congrats to the Hurricanes, man.
Yeah, thank you. And I know we're going to talk about it. That was going to be my shout out too, but you took it, you asshole. But I appreciate it. So Miami next game is against St. Francis, should be a win easily. But they play Virginia. Virginia plays Houston though this weekend. Miami plays Virginia on Monday. If Virginia
Ooh,
beats Houston, could we possibly see a one matchup with Miami?
oh my gosh, rankings will come out Monday. What's
It's
Virginia's?
possible.
Virginia's at 1 right now, or Virginia's at 2 right now, and they're
Hmm.
playing number 5 Houston.
I think it's very
Dude,
possible.
that you think they could jump Purdue at number
I
1?
think they could. Purdue has, I looked at it, I think they only have one game and it's like a mid-major. It's like, I think they play like Vermont or something.
Vermont's pretty good,
Which,
man. That's a big mid-major, but
but
still,
I mean, even if they, I'm just saying, even if they win, they dominate. If Virginia gets a win over Houston, like,
they might
I know
jump them up to
Houston
1
lost,
seed.
but yeah, I think so. But we'll get into it. Let's look at the top 25, though. You mentioned my Miami Hurricanes coming in at the top 25. Was there any, looking at this list, was there any movement that surprised you? Anything worth talking about?
Wisconsin finally moved in too. Now at 22, they moved up. They said 4 spots, which would have put them 26, 26, 22. So
Mm-hmm.
they're just on the edge, but good for them finally making it in. Virginia Tech now also ranked at 24.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the two.
I thought I saw Mississippi State starting off 9-0, up 6 spots. Um, I'm not sure how their most recent game has gone. I don't know if they played one since. Oh, they're playing Jackson State right now. I knew I had seen something about them. Um, but yeah, and then Texas obviously drops down. Interesting topic because of what's going on with Chris Beard right now. Probably not going to coach them for the rest of the year. It's safe to say, if he's even lucky to coach college basketball again. I don't want to talk about Chris Beard specifically, but how does not having Chris Beard kind of affect how you think this team can do, man?
Yeah, I mean, he was a star. He was going to be the head coach and just like take over Texas. And with his allegations, that is definitely a huge bummer. I mean, to think that he's got players coming over to play for him, and then he's not even there. I mean, that has to be demoralizing just the players themselves. I mean, of course, you're gonna have your assistant who sort of is gonna take what Beard has, but it's not the same, man. When you expect
Yeah.
to play for somebody and he's not there, that hurts. That definitely hurts. And I could see maybe a lot of people might transfer out next year or after the season ends. Very curious to see how this shakes out in Texas.
Yeah, no, and I thought it was interesting too. They actually had a game. I can't remember what day it was, but it was the same day that he got released from jail on bail or whatever. And they played Rice, who is not a very good team. Rice, I think, was actually up at halftime, or it was a very close game. Texas ended up winning by only a few points. I think this drastically changes how you view them in the Big 12. I would say, Kansas is up there ahead of them now. And I don't know who else I would put ahead of them. I guess Baylor too as well. Obviously. So I mean, because we were both high on Texas, right? We both had them. I had them like top 3 lock for sure because of what I saw from their guards and everything, and their offense and everything. But yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate, and unfortunately, that's what happens when.
Yeah.
But anyways,
since we're on that topic, I got an L of the week.
Okay, what's the L of the week?
All right, I gotta give it to my own WCC school, which is tough. So let's just say D1 Pacific from the WCC hosted, so they're at home, hosted a D2 Cal State East Bay. Okay, so we got D1 school versus D2 school, and you're at your home, Pacific, and they lose by 6, 79-73.
And
That is an L of the
Pacific
week.
too. They made because they used to be in the Big West, I think, with Cal State Long Beach and stuff. They made the tournament one of the years that Cal State Long Beach had a good team, and I remember because I think Pacific actually played. This was like 10 years ago. Pacific actually played Miami in the first round because I was getting ready for a Long Beach State Miami showdown. Did not happen. So Pacific, definitely the L of the week. Great pick, Tom's. I don't have one this week. I'm rolling with that one because Pacific robbed me 10 years ago. So
hey,
we'll take it.
A D2 losing, a D1 losing to a D2, man, that's the L of the week.
Yeah, that's some Louisville shit. Anyways, so did you want to get into the matchups on Saturday? Or before that, should I get into a little segment I got for you?
I want to hear the segment that you just came up with because I haven't even heard about it.
You surprised me around Thanksgiving time with a overrated, underrated, perfectly rated. I'm surprising you with one for the Christmas time, and I wanted to do it before you gave me one. I did this literally 5 minutes before we got on here because I thought of it.
Man.
So I didn't have time to really think about it.
All right.
So my overrated, underrated, perfectly rated. If you want to add to this too, go ahead because I'm sure you're going to think of some stuff as well that's correlated to Christmas. The first one I got for you, overrated, underrated, perfectly rated, Secret Santa. This is a big hot thing in the office. It's very debatable. I feel like people in on it and not in on it. What are your thoughts on Secret Santa here, Toms?
All right. In the office, I'm thinking overrated because everybody does it. I just don't. People don't want to spend money that they really aren't friends with. But I will say a friend group is very underrated because friends don't usually give friends gifts, especially for Christmas. And I will say this is our 3rd year running for all of our high school buddies. We do it for the 3rd year running, and we do it, and it's so fun. And that is so underrated because it's all your buddies that you like and you want to give gifts to, not these random coworkers that you never really talk to.
Yeah, and I feel like too the other thing is like you end up, and I'm not this year the one we did at work has been good, but like in years past, like the place I used to work at, you can end up getting some shit that I'm like who did you talk to that thought I liked this or that I was into this? One of my coworkers got literally a clear bag, just a clear bag that was open, full of like lip balm, like all different flavors, and some of them had been used.
What?
That's what she got for Secret Santa, and I was like, "Oh my god! If someone, I would never do it again." I'm already, got an opinion on it, but I'm with you on the overrated in the workplace. All right, this one's similar to Secret Santa. It's the white elephant. How we feel about this one? Overrated, underrated, perfectly rated?
I think this one's a perfectly rated.
I think so too.
I just think This one could be really hit or miss because I like deals. I like being able to, if you see something you like, you be able to like, I want that instead of taking the gift.
Yeah.
Steel, definitely underrated. That is like top tier.
The steals is what makes it. And I think too, like there's gotta be a mix of good gifts with like a couple shitty ones. Like it just makes it good, you know? Um, and the steals are what make it. So I agree with you on that one, man. Next one I
Hey,
got for you. Christmas music. Overrated, underrated, perfectly rated. What do you think?
oh man. So, oh man, I love Christmas music.
I do too.
I freaking love it, and it's only 1 month out of the year that you gotta endure it. I I'm buying it. I want more. I'm saying
Underrated.
yeah, it's underrated. I want more of it. I just think it gets everyone in a good mood, and you aren't used to it because 9 or 11 months out of the year you never hear it.
I will say this. Christmas music, underrated. Mariah Carey's "All I Want for Christmas" overrated. That's the
Oh
only
yeah,
Christmas song I'll say that for. Because like, if you got that on your Christmas playlist, like I understand, but I don't want to hear it every 3 minutes I'm in your store, you know, trying to get Christmas gifts. But yeah, no, I agree with you on that one. Next one I got for you. This is kind of like a two-parter. One, is gingerbread houses, like decorating gingerbread houses, and then actually like eating like gingerbread cookies.
okay. So for the houses, we actually did one this year, and it was like my first time ever making it. And honestly, it was actually pretty fun. I'm going underrated. I feel
Okay.
like I feel like most people don't do gingerbread houses. I mean, I never did really growing up. And it was actually pretty fun, especially if you have kids. I think it's underrated.
Okay. What about the gingerbread cookie though?
Man, I love sweets. And
You a fan of the
I'm actually okay with it. I love the frosting on them. That frosting is so good. I'm gonna say perfectly rated.
Okay, I agree with that one too. Last one I got for you. Christmas lights. Christmas decor outside. I'm gonna be offended if you say overrated, perfectly rated. What is it?
Dude, this is underrated for sure.
Hmm. It's like I
Um,
have a gun to your head.
no, no, no. I feel like Christmas is a different time of year, right? And everyone's in a good mood. And it's like the only time where you really see decorations.
Of this
Maybe,
caliber, yeah.
yeah, like of this state. And I love when people have decorations out on their house. I mean, it's really cool because not only it shows that you like care, it also shows dedication. And that's like something that you're keeping the spirit alive essentially. So underrated for sure. Gotta survive, gotta keep that joy.
I feel like not as many people do it too now, and I think that's a reason why you just don't see as many people with like Christmas lights and whatnot. Um, but to me, like I don't really associate Christmas decorations directly with Christmas. You know, it's always something I did with my dad when I was younger. And for those of you that don't know, our house is extremely decorated right now. I have like there's two elves that are up, you know, because I'm on the top floor that are just chilling up there with two candles, and I see all the lights and stuff, and I love it. I'm all about it. This is the time of year Matty Ice transforms into Matty Lights. Um, so your boy's out there. I'm right after this. I'm going out there to finish up some stuff with the front yard. So
Hey,
uh,
once you tell me it's all complete, I'm gonna be over there and I'll take
by
a video. We're about dude, we gotta post it on Instagram. We're posting it on the Brick
I
City
know
Boys, the Twitter for
that's what
sure.
gets this podcast really going is the Christmas decor. No one cares about our college basketball analysts' work. Um, but but yeah, so no, that was I thought that was a fun little thing.
Yeah, that
Um,
was good. I really enjoyed that. I wasn't expecting that.
yeah, so I mean, besides putting out Christmas decorations on Saturday, I'm gonna be watching college hoops. I know you are. But we got a lot of marquee matchups. We talked about it earlier. Um, I thought we could just kind of get right into it, just kind of go over some of the big games. If you're good with that, I have a list going and I'll just throw them out there and we can kind of talk about them if you got stuff to say. Um, let's talk about the first one. I think this is the first one of the day. Actually, is number 8 Kansas and number 14 Indiana. Um, Man, I mean, we've talked about it. Kansas, this is a different Kansas team, more undersized and stuff. I'm really interested in seeing how Trace Jackson Davis can go against these guys. I'm sure he's going to get matched up with KJ Davis. He's got a size advantage. Indiana doesn't take a bunch of threes. But I mean, if they can just dominate inside, I think that, this is their game. And I think this is going to be a really good game. It's going to be a clash of styles. What do you think, Toms?
Yeah, this game's going to be great. Number 14 versus number 8. Kansas is at home, so you got to factor in that. That might be a little different, but that's 9 a.m. Saturday morning. So bright
Pacific
and early.
Time. Yeah,
Pacific.
for us.
Sorry. 9 a.m. Pacific. So do the math, 12 o'clock Eastern, 11 Central, whatever you want to do. But I guess I'll start saying just Eastern time to make everything official across the board. But yeah, that game's going to be super good. I'm really curious to see. I think I have Kansas by like 3 in this game.
Yeah, I think I'm actually going to take Indiana. We should write down. I'm going to take Indiana. What do you think?
Okay, yeah, let's do this. And we can see what we did. I see you have a pen and paper right there.
Yeah,
I'm taking Kansas on this one.
Okay. And we're going by the spread, right?
Yeah, we'll do by spread. I don't know what the spread is. I wish they had the lines out, but they don't have
them out until like literally
probably
the day
Friday.
of or the day before. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll come out Friday morning usually.
So we're kind of just blind doing the spread. But
mark these games down because I want to come back to and talk about them. But I'm going Kansas in this one.
Okay, I have these down. Okay, next one we got is number 15, the Zags at Alabama, number 4 ranked team. Alabama, man, putting together an impressive little run here. They beat Memphis, a team that was right on the border of being ranked. They beat Houston when they were ranked 2nd, I think. But man, I think the thing is like, man, I didn't realize how deep this Alabama team is. They got a lot of good guys. They got a lot of good guards. As John Rothstein would say about Miami, more guards than Shawshank. Honestly, if there's one thing to pick about Gonzaga, it's their guard play, kind of not up to what it's been in the past, still good, but not as good. I think Drew Timme could potentially have a big game against, I think both of Alabama's big guys are freshmen. I'm not sure. I think that he could, have a big game, but I'm taking Alabama in this one, man. What about you?
Yeah, I was hoping you picked Gonzaga, but I am also going to pick Alabama in this one. They won 4 straight. Like you said, dude, they have a good run right now. Alabama's 9-1, and their last 4 are against UNC, which is a great school. They won in overtime. South Dakota State, Houston, and Memphis. I mean, those are some big name wins right there. Gonzaga coming off a loss against Baylor by 1. And then they beat up some other little small schools the last 3 games.
Mid-majors,
mid-majors. But I think I'm going Alabama in this one.
Yeah.
I'm very curious to see what the line is here. I think it's going to be really close. I think it's going to be 2 or 3 for Alabama, if I had to guess. But yeah, going Alabama.
Yeah, it's impressive seeing what Alabama's done too, because you look at like the last 5 wins they've had. So they obviously lost to Connecticut, who's on another level, I feel like, right now.
They're tearing it up.
But Michigan State, UNC is still solid, I think. South Dakota State, and then Houston and Memphis. So good little run that they've had been going on. So we're both on the Bama train. I think we should get into the next game, though. This is going to be an interesting one because we referenced it earlier. Number 5, Houston at number 2, Virginia. Virginia has been really impressive. Obviously, Houston just lost against Alabama. I still think Houston is a really good team. Toms, how do you feel about this one?
So I know they're ranked number 5 and they're ranked number 1 for a long time, Houston. But when St. Mary's played them and only lost to them by 5, I sort of lost some respect for Houston, not going to lie. I was gonna
Yeah.
say like they should have. They were favored by 11, and we lost by 5. And St. Mary's does not play well on the road, and we hung in there. We only lost by 5 because we were down by 3, and they just made like a last second layup. We should have lost by 3 because we missed the game tying 3 on the other end,
Hmm.
and they came down and hit a layup, and then we just chucked up a half court shot and lost by 5. But I'm going Virginia in this. Virginia's 8-0. They have some solid wins. I'm going Virginia.
Yeah. Houston isn't the best 3-point shooting team. I think that, you look at both teams are really good defensively, but if you look at where you can kind of get Virginia, with that pack defense, I've seen it a lot, against Miami, obviously. They like to clog the lane and take away driving lanes. So if you can get quick passes out to the perimeter, you can shoot some threes, because you have to close out really hard and recover when you're that far away from your man. When you're doing that pack defense. I just don't know if Houston's the team to really do that. I think that they'll hit the offensive boards really hard. They always do that, those hustle plays like that. And I think that's what's going to keep them close. But it's those initial drive actions that I'm kind of worried about, how they're going to look offensively. I'm going Virginia with this one.
Nice.
And, like we said, man, Virginia could be ranked number 1. Going to Coral Gables to face my Miami Hurricanes.
That'd be something else.
But yeah,
that'd be really cool.
There's 4 other games I was going to bring up, and these 2 are at Madison Square Garden, so I thought we could talk about them first. That sounds good. We got UNC versus Ohio State. Just briefly, I mean, UNC, we've talked about it, just looks like a completely different team. Their guard play has just not been, what it was in the tournament. Caleb Love has been very off, just kind of jacking up some tough shots. Armando Bacot doesn't look as involved as he was before. Obviously they don't have Brady Manek. Pete Nance is a good player, but I don't think he's the same, player that Manek was. Doesn't shoot the same volume, and consistency. I thought Jeff Goodman said something interesting too. He was like, man, he's like, if you look at like how they've played so far and their wins and everything, if the NCAA tournament was today, they wouldn't be in it. And it's true. Like, you look at the quality of wins and their losses, every good, solid team that they've played, they've lost to. I think that this is the game that they bounce back though. I just can't believe that a team that made it to the finals is just really going to drop this many games, I think that, they were definitely overrated coming into this season.
Yeah.
But I think they still have talent, and I think that they put it together and get this win. I don't know moving forward, what the outlook looks like. But I still think that they're like a top, border 20, 15 around that area. It's hard to tell this early team. But how do you feel about this one, Toms?
Oh, man, this is tough. I'm not a big fan of Ohio State. They lost to Duke and San Diego State.
Mm-hmm.
St. Mary's beat San Diego State this weekend, which I actually called, by the way. I don't know if we got to go back to that, but I said San Diego State was going to lose to St. Mary's, so I did call that one. I think you could be right. I think you could be onto something right here. UNC bounces back. I mean, this is going to be a big game. It's going to be on CBS. Big game. Everyone's going to be watching.
Square Garden. Yep.
MSG. UNC is known for their college basketball. I think this might be a statement win. Knock Ohio State back out of the top 25 because they're hanging on at 23 right now.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't disagree.
I wonder what that line's going to be. I mean, they'll probably have Ohio by 4 or 3.
Yeah.
But I think UNC could get it done.
The only thing I just thought of is I don't know if because wasn't Bacot out for a little bit?
Yeah, he has been out. He hasn't been.
He played against the Citadel. He just didn't play against Virginia Tech, so it looks like he's back. I think I'm still obviously going North Carolina. But you want to get into the next one at Madison Square Garden?
Yeah.
We got number 16 UCLA against number 13 Kentucky. UCLA, tough schedule, man. They got Maryland up tonight, I think it is actually, at Maryland, I believe.
Yeah, it's that's gonna be a really good game. It actually starts right now. UCLA Maryland FS1. I'm about to go turn that on when we're done recording. Maryland favored by 2, 16 versus 20. That game's gonna be really good actually.
Yeah. So we got number 16 UCLA versus number 13 Kentucky on Saturday, though. UCLA, honestly, like I caught parts of their last games because our buddy who's a huge UCLA fan, I kind of, got a few highlights in. And Amari Bailey, the freshman, has been playing pretty well over the past like 5-6 games, averaging 14 a game. Adds another scoring dynamic, which I think they miss with Johnny Juzang being gone and Jules Bernard. I think that's kind of what they needed to kind of elevate them a little bit. And I really like them as a defense too. They're still a little undersized with Jaime Jaquez and such, but they got legit guys that will play defense. Jalen Clark, Jaime Jaquez. I'm interested in seeing how they do. I'm going UCLA in this one.
Damn. It's hard to go against UCLA. I love UCLA. And they got some good players too.
I will say too, I really love Cason Wallace on Kentucky. I think he's one guy that at the end of the season you'll see his draft stock rise just because of how good he is on both sides of the floor. Obviously, we know what Oscar Tshiebwe and Severe Wheeler and those guys can do. But yeah, Cason Wallace has been one of the freshmen that I've really liked to watch. So I'm interested in seeing that as well.
Yeah, man, I don't even know who I want here, but I really want to watch UCLA play tonight against Maryland, and then determine.
But here's the thing: they could come out and lay an egg, and then just completely dominate Kentucky. It's never an indication,
I haven't watched the complete UCLA game. I've only watched the beginning of one of their games, and they're blowing out.
I watched.
Was it Long Beach State? I think I watched that
probably.
game. And
I watched them against Illinois in the main event in Vegas, and I was trying to go to that. Remember, we were trying to do a suicide trip to go see that. We need to do that next year. But like honestly, like it was hard to tell because Illinois played really well. That was a game Terrence Shannon just like went off. He had like 30 something points. UCLA was at that stage, when you rely on true freshmen, you're kind of, the inconsistency is there. And it looked like they were just looking for another guy to score. Tiger Campbell's, we know what he can do offensively. We know what Jaime Jaquez, Jalen Clark is solid, but you need that other guy, that other guy on the wing that can score. And I think Amari Bailey is that, after seeing what he's done the past few games. So I'm interested in watching that. That's probably the game I'm looking forward to the most, to be honest. But yeah, man.
So you got me sold. I'm going UCLA. I can't.
You're going UCLA. Okay, let me write that down, and then we can get into the next one. The next one is we got two more. We got UConn and Butler, who right now I think UConn is ranked number 1 in the KenPom rankings. They're 11-0, top of the Big East. I think they have a top 5 offense and defense. It might be border. I can't remember. I was looking at it earlier. But they've got some impressive wins. Obviously, the win over Alabama when they won by double digits. Oregon, Florida, and I think they played Oklahoma State and Iowa State. They won. So they got some solid wins. I think UConn is good. I don't know if them being number 1 is kind of fluky, being the best team, or if it's just a standard of like, this is how college basketball is this year, that like, there's so many good teams that, there's not that much of a difference between 1 to, 15 ranking or even 25 for that matter. But they got a battle going on against Butler. I think it's at Butler as well. I couldn't check that. I didn't write that one down. Yeah, I think it is at Butler. What are you thinking, man, for this one?
All right, so this is what
I wish we had the spread.
So UConn will win this game.
Okay.
But the spread, I think, is going to be like 11 or 12. I don't think they cover that. I think they win
Okay.
by like 7 or 8.
I'll
UConn by
agree
like
with that
7 or 8.
actually.
But they aren't going to cover. I just have a feeling this line is going to be crazy. UConn's number 3 in the nation, coming off an Alabama win. They're on a 4-game win streak right now. Actually, no, sorry. I mean, they're 11-0. So I mean, they actually haven't lost yet. They're going to win again, but the line, that's where it's going to be very iffy.
Okay. And I think Butler is kind of like a middle of the road conference opponent for
Oh
them.
yeah,
So I think they'll. I don't know. I think this is a game. You got UConn coming in hot. I think all the fans of Butler are going to be there. It's going to be like
we can get loud.
pretty lit crowd. Yeah. But yeah, no, I
Butler's a
agree.
small school, so I don't know how big their stadium is. I wish I could figure that out.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but I mean, it doesn't matter how big it is. It matters how loud it is, right?
It's
You
true.
would know that as a St. Mary's alum.
Yeah.
Um,
That place holds 2,500 people and it gets loud. It
Loud
is
as
a
hell.
microphone in there.
Microphone. Okay. Next one. This is a really, really, really interesting one to me. We got Tennessee, who's ranked 5th, and Arizona, who's ranked 9th. But this is the number 1 defense versus the number 1 offense per Ken Palm. Obviously, Tennessee, number 1 defense. Arizona, the number 1 offense. Um, you know, I had kind of thought, normally when you have this debate, it's always good offense beats good defense. But honestly, man, I think that I I really like Tennessee, man. I do. I think they look a lot better than last year. Sakai Ziegler, Vescovi is playing really well. Um, I I'm leaning towards taking Tennessee here, man. To be
I,
honest with
I I
you.
could see why. I mean, they just beat Maryland, who was ranked, and they beat Kansas, who was also ranked. They're 9-1 on the season. Arizona is also 9-1 on the season, with a little less wins. Their only loss was to Utah, and they were
Hmm.
at Utah and lost by 15. Arizona. They won the Maui Classic pretty much. Steamrolled everyone through that. I like Arizona here.
Yeah. Okay.
Um, this is gonna
The
be
only
such a
thing
good
that
game,
worries
though.
me is that, like, when Tennessee has been a team that hasn't shot the three well. Um, I think that they really rely on their defense to kind of create opportunities on offense. So I really think it's going to come down to them forcing turnovers, forcing long rebounds to get out in transition, right? And then you got to make some threes, man. I know Vescovi has that ability. So that's kind of what I'm thinking in that way. I think that happens. I think Tennessee wins this one. But
That's gonna be. I got
you got
Arizona. I'm
Arizona,
going
right?
Arizona. Yeah.
All right. Oh man. Well, we got a lot of college basketball this weekend, man.
That's all those games that we just went over were just on Saturday alone. So that's
Yes.
gonna be absolutely bonkers.
Like we said, 17 out of the top 25 teams play on Saturday. So it's gonna be a good one. Miami plays too. We didn't mention them, but I mean they're playing on, very small school. So it'll be interesting to see everything that happens. I mean, the top 25 is gonna look completely different
Oh
this
yeah.
weekend, right?
People are gonna be dropping if they lose, and it's gonna be if you win, you're moving up. It's gonna be interesting. I'm really excited to see.
Yeah, absolutely. So, with that being said, I think the plan is, I mean, we'll come back here maybe on Saturday if you're down. If you're not doing anything Saturday night, we could record a quick one after all the games.
Yeah, maybe Saturday night we could do something.
Yeah, that would be cool to do. I still have to get the last podcast out. I forgot there was an editing error that I had to change, so I had it ready, and then I don't know if you remember in the middle of the podcast, like I disconnected, so I
Oh
have to go
yeah.
back and find it because I was going to upload it. Um,
Okay.
but yeah, so got to do that. But make sure you catch our podcast whenever that gets uploaded, wherever you get your podcasts, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Spreaker. With that being said, Tommy, what are your closing words of wisdom?
By the way, shout out to About the Fans.
Good call. Forgot about that. Got this sick hat about the fans. Use promo code BCity for 10% off. They got all the best stickers, apparel, whatever you need, they got it. Tommy D, take it away with the closing words of wisdom.
Closing words of wisdom is always be true to yourself.
You heard it here first.
You heard it here first.